So you're thinking about hiking Mount Kilimanjaro. What are you going to take? I had no idea. So in March of 2025, I successfully completed the Machame route up Mount Kilimanjaro. We spent 6 days on the mountain, and on day 5, we summited. Now this was just before the rainy season. So if you're going in the latter half of the year, you're going to be there after the rainy season. There is more snow on the mountain and there are plenty more people around. But what gear did I take for Mount Kilimanjaro? So first of all, a duffel bag. Now, you won't be carrying this. So your porters are carrying the duffel bag with all your extra bits and pieces that you need along the way. You will carry each day a day pack. Now this one here is the Stratos 34 litre from Osprey. It's a wonderful pack. It's probably bigger than you're going to need. You could get away with a 20 to a 25 litre pack depending on the size of your clothing and if you're taking other pieces like a camera, GoPro, drone. You're allowed to take drones if you get the permit for them. Each day in your day pack you'll be carrying the extra layers that you'll need. So if it's going to get cold, if it's going to rain, you will be carrying your extra layers. You'll be carrying your water, snacks. They usually do provide lunch, but you'll carry that in your bag as well. But if you have any other snacks, sunscreen, first aid, those sorts of pieces, put those in your bag. That's what you're going to need your day pack for on the mountain. Otherwise, the duffel bag is where everything else will go. The layers that you're not wearing and any other pieces of gear that you will not need on the day. This here is the sleeping bag that I took. This is the Denali Capsule 700. I bought this at Anaconda, and this is definitely one of the cheaper -10 degree sleeping bags on the market, but it absolutely did the trick. Most nights starting from night 2 were below 0. Night 1 was still bloody freezing, but night 2 absolutely needed this. As we approached the summit, the highest altitude that we camped at was about 4,500 meters. Now that was summit night. Prior to that, the highest altitude we camped at was 3,900 meters. And it was 3,800 meters the day before, 3,000 meters the day before that. Absolutely need a below 0 sleeping bag. Those high nights I did sleep in thermals as well. I layered up. So I wasn't just depending on the sleeping bag. Otherwise get one that goes down to even lower temperatures than this. But you will need a below 0 sleeping bag. Hiking poles. These are the C3 Trekkers from MacPack. They are carbon fiber. They extend out rather than fold together. I prefer that design. These will be really helpful on the way up if you're needing that extra oomph. Otherwise, the way down, absolutely, you will want some poles. Summit day is also the largest day of descending the mountain. So 3,000 meters of descent you have in store for you after summiting. So these poles were an absolute must. My knees were in agony without these poles. Hydration, pretty key. Now you will need to be drinking a lot of water on the mountain. The more water you drink, the better your body is able to move around your blood. Therefore better oxygen. High altitude, very important. A camelback, absolutely amazing. Take that with you. If you can get a thermal insulator for it, that will help because on summit night, it will freeze. It'll freeze in the pipe. Otherwise, you just blow back the water. I thought I was doing that pretty effectively the whole time, but it still froze. So a thermal insulator, if you have one. I took 2 1-liter water bottles plus a camelback. I was carrying 4 liters with me each day, and that was maybe a little bit overkill, but minimum 3 liters of water they advise to be drinking every day. Like everything I'm mentioning, if you've been hiking before, these are all very common things, but inflatable pillow, take one of these, super compact, super light. I love these. Also, you can get them, you can use them on the planes. So if you're flying there, use it on the plane. Storage in your bags. Stuff sack, dry sack. These are both very similar. The dry sacks, as they may suggest, keep everything dry. They are waterproof for the most part. Water resistant, I'd say, perhaps, but they seal differently. So everything like that, close it up, hooks in, happy days. The mountain is known for unpredictable weather. It has its own weather systems around it, so it can rain a lot. Thankfully, we didn't get any while I was there. Light sprinkle. But dry sack and a stuff sack, particularly great having an extra one of these for all your dirty clothes. You don't really want your dirty clothes just amongst all your bits. So a few stuff sacks, dry sack at least. A head torch. So I actually took 2 head torches because I didn't want to have to recharge one, or if something happened to the batteries in the cold. Cold temperatures make it really hard for batteries, so they can sort of give out. I took 2 with me, definitely a little bit overkill. You don't need to do that. This is the Petzl 600 lumen one. It has a rechargeable battery, but it can also take AAAs. So I took batteries that I could also just put in rather than have to rely on the recharging. So using that for summit night and every other time in between. Super important is your insect repellent. Now, the higher the DEET percentage, the better it is at repelling insects, I'm told. So yeah, Bushman's I rely on all the time. You'll only really need it for the first couple of days walking up, and then your last sort of day or so coming down, because above about 2,000, maybe 2,500 meters above sea level, it's going to be too cold. They're not going to be there, so you won't need to worry about that. But for the first few days, this Bushman's 80% fantastic. This particular one is like a rub-in, but if you can take a spray with you, that's much better. I didn't think they had this high of DEET with the spray. Here's one thing that I'm really, really glad that I took, and that was earplugs, particularly for summit night. During peak season, after that rainy season, the camp will fill up. I'm told it is absolutely packed, but even when it wasn't, there were still people somewhat close to me. So having earplugs, if there are just people up and around the campsites that are just making a bit more noise, that'll help you get some sleep, particularly for summit night, because you're going to be going to bed super, super early, but not everyone at the campsite will be going to the summit. The other porters that are there are most likely not summiting, so they'll still be awake. Take earplugs, you'll thank yourself. I also took gaiters. Now, I didn't use these except for summit day. Gaiters just strap around your ankles. You can get large ones that come up your legs. They can protect you from things biting as well. These are just light ones for basically preventing dust and dirt and things getting into your boots. Really, really glad for these because coming down from the summit, it's so dusty. It's just gravel. It was unbelievable. So yeah, having the gaiters just prevented little rocks and pebbles and things from getting into my boots as we were already exhausted trying to come down the mountain. So gaiters, absolute must, absolute. A portable charger, super important. I took 2 20,000 milliamp portable chargers. This is one by VRURC. I'm sorry, I don't know if they actually have a name on how to say that. These things are really cheap from Amazon, and I've used them for years, and they work really, really well. I've bought expensive power banks in the past, and they just die really quick, or they don't hold their battery, or they don't charge as much as they say they do. But for the price of these things, they're amazing. They just last. So, power bank, take it with you. So what's super important when it comes to hiking these sorts of mountains is layering of clothing. You're going to need a variety of things, particularly Kilimanjaro, because it's not just one temperature the whole way up. So layering of your clothing is super, super important. And having layers that you can either put on as you get cold or take off as you get hot. You don't want just one really big warm thing because then you're not going to be able to really do anything when you get hot. So towards the base of the mountain, it's going to be warm. I was in a short sleeve shirt, base layer, and that was all I needed. As you go up, you're going to want to add on layers. So I took a long sleeve shirt that I could put over the top or just wear by itself. And then as you get even colder, you'll then begin layering even more. So first of all, base layer, super breathable. So whether it be merino thermals or merino whatever it is, something breathable and moisture wicking particularly. After that, thermals that you can put on underneath. It's going to be the same ordering for both your legs and your torso. Moisture wicking base layers and thermals for the top. Merino wool is fantastic for that, but things that are going to be able to take the moisture away and breathe at the same time. Perfect for your base layers. So the next layer is then a warm, longer layer. So I had normal hiking pants on and then a long sleeve shirt, or I would go straight to a fleece, a warm layer to put. And I had fleece for both pants and top, and I wore that during the night as well. So that was perfect for that. After the fleece, once it got colder and colder and colder, we go to the puffer jacket. So again, you want to check the rating of the puffer jacket, how much insulation it has, whether it's down. Head into one of your stores locally and speak to them about the differences. Because you're going to want to make sure you have a really high quality puffer jacket. I had your insulated puffer jacket top. I didn't have insulated pants, but your next layer is then going to be your rain clothing. Rain jacket. So both the rain jacket and the rain pants are really, really important because it can rain a lot on Mount Kilimanjaro. Rain gear has different ratings. So you want to be making sure you're getting a high quality rating because they're not all going to be as waterproof as each other. Again, go into a local store and speak to them about the options of that, and that depending on how much money you want to spend on that. But it's really important to stay dry because once you get wet, you're going to get cold, and that's not good for anyone. For my head, I had a balaclava so that I could cover up, and then the beanie on top of that. So that kept me warm on summit. I didn't use either of them any other night. Perhaps actually the beanie one of the nights, but the balaclava only got used for summit day. It was also really handy to have this or a buff that I could put because it got really dusty towards the summit. There was so much dust around, so just being able to like breathe through something else. Yeah, the whole way down, it just felt like there was dust in my lungs. So having that was really helpful. I had 2 layers of gloves, again, primarily just used on the summit night. I had one merino layer of gloves, really thin, and then just sort of a standard layer of gloves. After that, they were just warmer gloves. I did also then take waterproof gloves that I could put over the top, but I didn't need to use those. I also took an extra warm layer of socks, buying like a thermal layer of socks that I use for summit. So again, summit layering, really warm socks, usual hiking socks over the top of that, and then the boot. So make sure you check that when you put that many layers of socks on, you can still fit inside the boot. It's really handy to have just a little bit of space in your hiking boot, and particularly as you're walking downhill for long durations, so your toes aren't like hitting the end of the boot constantly as you're taking your steps. So yeah, just like that. So what is something I really wish that I had? Now, I did actually take them, and unfortunately they broke in my bag, but goggles. For the way down, the sun and the dust. Absolutely for the dust. That was one of the worst things. So having goggles would have been great. And again, for the dust, I did have the balaclava. It eventually got too hot, so just having a light buff that I could have worn for the entire descent, I would have worn that had I had it. It was just, yeah, the lungs filled with dust, and then I had a cough for a while after that. So that was fun. In terms of food and consumables for the mountain, the pieces that I took were electrolytes, I found really helpful to have, energy gels and lollies, particularly for summit day. With the high altitude, there's a good chance you're going to lose your appetite. So just having something that I can just chew on and easily digest. I really didn't want anything dry or heavy. So just having those easy pieces that I could just pick on along the way up made a world of difference. World of difference. So there you have it, my list of everything that I took to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. I will include a list in the description of every other little piece that I haven't spoken about in this video. Have a look through, compare what you've got, and thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, please comment if you have any questions, and most importantly, please do subscribe. It'd mean a lot.